You wake up determined. You've cleared your schedule, brewed your coffee, and sat down at your desk with a clear goal. Finish that important project. But 5 minutes in, your phone lights up with a notification. Just one quick check, you think. Before you know it, you're scrolling through endless feeds, jumping from one app to another, and an hour has vanished. Sound familiar? You're not failing at discipline. Your brain is caught in a hidden dopamine loop, silently pulling you away from what matters, and it's more powerful than sheer willpower ever could be. This isn't about laziness or lack of motivation. In today's digital world, where notifications ping relentlessly and social media algorithms know you better than you know yourself, distraction has become the default state for most of us. Working adults in their 20s and 30s grinding through jobs or studies often describe this as mental fatigue, a foggy exhaustion that makes even simple tasks feel monumental. You start your day sharp, but by afternoon, focus crumbles. Why? Because your brain isn't wired for this level of constant overstimulation. It's adapting to an environment engineered to exploit its most basic reward system, dopamine. Dopamine isn't just the feel-good chemical you hear about in pop psychology. It's a neurotransmitter fundamentally tied to motivation and learning. Deep in your midbrain, the ventral tegmental area releases dopamine in anticipation of rewards, signaling to the rest of your brain, this action leads to something good. Do it more. Historically, this helped our ancestors forage for food or spot dangers. A berry bush meant survival. Dopamine spiked, reinforcing the hunt. But today, that same system gets hijacked by apps and devices. Social media likes, email pings, and video recommendations deliver unpredictable rewards, creating a loop your brain can't ignore. Consider how this plays out in real time. You're trying to read a report or study for an exam, but boredom sets in. A subtle discomfort from the prefrontal cortex registering the task as low reward. Your basal ganglia, which handles habit formation, nudges you toward proven dopamine sources, your phone. One swipe, and bam. A funny meme or a work reply floods your nucleus accumbens with dopamine. Relief washes over you. But it's short-lived. The anticipation rebuilds instantly because these rewards are variable, like a slot machine. Psychologist B.F. Skinner's experiments showed animals pressing levers obsessively for intermittent treats. Your Instagram feed works the same way, keeping you hooked far longer than any steady reward ever could. This dopamine loop thrives on prediction error. Your brain constantly guesses reward value based on past experiences. When reality exceeds the guess, like an unexpected like or viral video, the dopamine surge is bigger, cementing the habit. Platforms exploit this mercilessly. Infinite scroll removes natural stopping points, while push notifications create urgency, mimicking threats your amygdala can't distinguish from saber-toothed tigers. The result? Attention fragments. Studies from neuroscientists like Anna Lemke reveal that chronic overstimulation raises your baseline dopamine levels, making everyday productive work feel dull by comparison. It's not that you're addicted to your phone. Your brain has recalibrated to expect constant novelty. As this loop deepens, a behavioral pattern emerges. The distraction cycle. It starts with intent. Sit down to work. Then, internal friction arises. The task demands sustained attention, taxing your prefrontal cortex, which fatigues after just 20-30 minutes without breaks. Seeking escape, you default to autopilot behaviors stored in the basal ganglia. Phone check, dopamine hit, temporary reset. But now guilt creeps in from the anterior cingulate cortex, registering conflict between your goals and actions. This emotional ping often triggers more distraction to numb it, forming a self-reinforcing spiral. By evening, you're burned out, not from effort, but from this invisible tug of war. Environmental design amplifies everything. Modern offices and homes blur boundaries. Your laptop is work, entertainment, and social hub. Algorithms personalize feeds to maximize engagement, learning your weaknesses. If cat videos hook you, expect more. Notifications interrupt at peak focus times, exploiting the Zeigarnik effect, where unfinished tasks linger in memory, pulling focus back to your device. Urban life adds layers. Constant ads, billboards, even commute podcasts fragment attention into microdoses. For students juggling classes and side gigs, or professionals in open-plan offices, this creates chronic context switching. Each switch costs cognitive resources, depleting willpower like a battery running dry. Overstimulation doesn't just steal time, it rewires neural pathways. Long-term, the dopamine loop strengthens synapses in reward circuits via long-term potentiation, making distraction feel automatic. Meanwhile, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, key for executive function, weakens under fatigue. fMRI scans show distracted brains light up more in impulsive areas and less in planning ones. Mental fatigue sets in as decision-making overloads, working memory, turning minor choices like reply now or later into exhausting battles. Productivity plummets not because you're undisciplined, but because your brain prioritizes energy conservation in a high-stimulation world. Here's the deeper mechanism: tolerance. Like any reward system, repeated hits desensitize receptors. You need more intense stimuli to feel the same rush. That quick email check evolves into full TikTok binges. Baseline dopamine creeps higher, so studying or report writing registers as painful withdrawal. Negative dopamine states trigger anxiety, pushing you back to the loop. This mirrors substance use disorders, where addicts chase escalating highs. But unlike drugs, digital dopamine is free, endless, and normalized, making escape feel impossible. Shifting identity starts with reframing. You're not bad at focus. Your brain is executing a survival script from an era of scarcity, now maladapted to abundance. This loop protected ancestors by seeking resources. Today, it dooms you to distraction. Recognizing it as a biological mismatch, not a character flaw, reduces shame. Shame fuels the cycle by amplifying avoidance. Instead, view yourself as navigator of a flawed system. This cognitive reappraisal, backed by research from Kelly McGonigal, quiets the amygdala's fear response, freeing prefrontal resources for change. Environment plays a starring role in breaking free, but logically. Dopamine loops rely on cues. Remove them strategically. Silence notifications during focus blocks, not as punishment, but to lower baseline stimulation, allowing receptor sensitivity to reset. This dopamine fasting isn't deprivation, it's recalibration. Neuroplasticity allows pathways to weaken without triggers. Pair it with monotasking. One app, one goal. Your brain builds new associations. Work with steady, internal rewards like completion satisfaction, sourced from the orbitofrontal cortex evaluating long-term value. Practical redesign targets the loop's core: anticipation. Delay gratification intentionally. Use app blockers not to force willpower, but to interrupt prediction error. When urge hits, note the physical cue: tight chest, wandering eyes from the insula, your brain's interoception hub. Label it: dopamine seeking. This metacognition disrupts autopilot, engaging the prefrontal cortex to choose differently. Gradually, introduce low-stakes wins. 5-minute tasks yielding clear dopamine from mastery. Rebuilding tolerance for delayed rewards. Behavioral substitution is key. Replace phone checks with micro-habits tapping intrinsic motivation. A walk outdoors exploits natural dopamine from movement and novelty without screens. Exercise boosts ventral striatal activity sustainably, countering digital spikes. For deeper focus, leverage ultradian rhythms, 90-minute cycles of high attention followed by breaks. During breaks, avoid screens. Stare out a window. This lets dopamine dip naturally, sharpening subsequent highs for real work. Identity reinforcement seals it. Track patterns without judgment. Log distraction triggers in a simple journal. Patterns reveal post-lunch slumps from blood sugar dips affecting dopamine synthesis. Adjust. Protein snacks stabilize it. Over weeks, data shows progress, activating reward centers for self-efficacy. You're not fighting your brain. You're upgrading its software. This shift from victim to architect reduces cognitive load, making focus habitual. As loops weaken, attention economy flips. What once felt boring, deep work, ignites sustained dopamine from flow states, where Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's research shows time dissolves and intrinsic joy emerges. Burnout fades as mental fatigue lifts. Energy reallocates to creation, relationships, growth. The hidden loop was never about you lacking something. It was your brain, brilliantly adaptive, trapped in a mismatched world. Reflect on this. Every scroll was your neurology seeking safety in familiarity. Awareness alone dulls its power. You've glimpsed the machinery, now wield it. In a distracted age, reclaiming attention isn't triumph. It's quiet evolution.